Going on, guys? Serious Hydra Spy here. Today I'm going to be making a video a lot of you guys have asked me about, and that's simply how to play Kaijudo. So, I guess to start, we'll start with the 5 colors of the game. Now, there are purple cards, or darkness, yellow cards, or light, green cards, or nature, blue cards, or water, and then red cards, or fire. Each of these cards pretty much symbolize their own colors. Once per turn you can play a mana card from your hand, and say I play this card in my mana, so you'll play it like this in your mana zone. And if you have a purple mana and a yellow mana, that means you can either play a 2 cost or a 1 cost or whatever, as long as you have like, I can't play a red card with these. If I have like a 2 cost purple guy, like say this is my mana, and I tap these 2, I can summon this guy. I'll get more into that later, but pretty much what I'm saying is mana, you can only summon a certain guy if you have a certain color in your mana, and you don't necessarily have to tap that purple mana to summon the purple guy, you just have to have it in your mana. Same thing for the yellow, same thing for the blue, same thing for the red, same thing for the green. The more important thing about mana is, when building your deck, you don't want to run too many different colors because it will clog hands. You won't be able to summon certain cards because you don't have the right mana. But yeah. Okay, in order to get started with the game, pretty much everyone just starts off by putting 5 shields down and drawing 5 cards. Everyone starts off with 5 cards and 5 shields. The objective of the game is to get rid of the shields and attack directly once. By getting rid of the shields, all you have to do is attack them. There are some cards that are double breakers that can hit 2 shields, but when you're attacking a shield, usually your creature will not be a double breaker and it'll just hit 1 shield. Now, when the shield is hit, it goes to your hand, and sometimes there are cards called Shield Blasts. That means you can activate them when they're hitting your shields. But yeah, the objective, like I said, is to attack all the shields and then attack directly. What's next? Oh yeah. Okay, so like I said, you have to draw 5 cards. Both players draw 5 cards to, start the game off, and then the person who goes first doesn't draw for their turn, but the person who goes second does. The reason for this isn't, you would obviously think that the second player has an advantage, but it's not exactly true, because the first player gets to play their mana first, which means they get to summon their cards a little faster than their opponent, not too fast. Going second, you do get the free card for going second, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, you can play 1 mana a turn, and that's it. You don't have to play mana, but it's recommended for a while until you can get to the later turns of the game where it's not as important. Like turn 9, you might not want to play mana. Now next up, I want to show you the different types of cards. Well, first off, there's a spell card. Let me just zoom in. As you can see, it's a spell, and that's a creature. Now, spell cards are usually cards that just like boost creatures or tap creatures. They have all different abilities. They can't really do anything besides alter creatures, pretty much. And then creatures are, the things that you win with. You can attack creatures with them. You can attack shields with them. You can do a lot of things with creatures. They're really cool. Now, as you can see these numbers on the cards, you're probably wondering what those means. And that's pretty much just the level. The level of the card just pretty much tells you how much mana you need to play the card. And when you play the card, you have to tap that mana, and you can't use that mana again until next turn when it untaps. So, yep. And then on the creature, you notice there's a number right there. That's called the power. What the power does, it doesn't really mean anything when it's hitting a shield, but when the creature battles with other creatures, power is important. Say my power is 2,000 and their power is 2,000, and I attack their creature. This will mean they trade, because they both go to the grave, or the banish zone. If their creature is more than my power, say they have this creature, and this battles with it, this creature will kill mine, or banish mine, and this will stay on the field. So, don't ever want to attack into bigger creatures, obviously. When attacking creatures with your creatures, you have to make sure your opponent's creature is tapped, and the way creatures get tapped, there are some spells that tap creatures, and also when you attack, you have to tap your creature. So when you're attacking with your Brain Squirmer, for instance, that's this card right here, I would go attack. Drglide. They're both 2000, they both go to the banish zone. Alright, now I just want to show you each, or most of the types of creatures. They have different abilities, but some of these are main abilities. Alright, so this is a regular creature. Every creature has its own, like, little, I guess, ability name, I'll call it. This one isn't a very generic ability. It's more of a ability just for this guy. So yeah. And then, so that's not really important. I'm just saying, like, a lot of creatures have abilities, but these are the most important abilities. First off, we'll start with the Double Breaker. Double Breaker pretty much means when he's attacking shields, it can hit 2 shields instead of 1, so that's pretty cool. A Slayer is also a kind of important ability. No matter what it battles with, it automatically banishes it at the end of the battle. So, or actually when it loses the battle, I'm sorry. Fast Attacker, this is one of my favorite abilities right now. The turn it's, oh, I didn't even mention that, I'm so sorry. The turn the creature enters the field, it can attack directly. But normally when you summon when you play a creature, it can't attack, it gets sick. So it can't attack until the following turn, and that just makes the game a little bit more balanced, in my opinion. I really like that about the game. But fast attackers can break through that rule, and that's what makes them cool. They can just attack right away. And finally, one of the better abilities in the game that you usually see in almost every control deck is a blocker. A blocker is pretty much, and it's usually always going to be untapped. But say I have this blocker on the field, it's 4,000 power to this Drglide. If they were to attack with this Drglide, I could just use this blocker's ability and tap it, and it forces the attack to go into the blocker. I'll read you the exact text of the effect of a blocker. You may tap this creature to change an enemy creature's attack to this creature. So it's pretty simple. And yeah, that's the main abilities of the creatures. Now for the spells, there's 2 different types of abilities. There's just a regular ability. Every spell has an effect. For instance, this one says each of your creatures gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn and can attack untapped creatures. Like I said, you can't normally attack untapped creatures, so this lets you get away with doing that. But this is the Shield Blast. I talked about this a little bit before. If this is in your shields, which you remember was right here, you start with 5, and once they're all gone, your opponent attacks directly and you lose. But yeah, this is a Shield Blast, so when it's hitting the shields, instead of putting it to your hand, you would activate it. And for instance, this one says return target creature from the battle zone to its owner's hand. And you don't have to pay the mana for it. It's free. You just play it and you don't have to pay the mana. Alright, and yeah, same thing with the levels on the spells and creatures. They're the same thing for levels. There's just no power on spells. Alright, I talked about untapped a little bit and tapped, so like I said, when you attack, you tap your creature to signify you're attacking, and it shows that it can be attacked next turn. It shows that it already attacked. You might have used a card that taps it by a spell effect or a monster effect. There's a few things that tap creatures. Blockers tap themselves when they block, and then a tapped creature is this, and an untapped creature is this. So, yep. You can only attack tapped creatures or shields. You cannot attack anything else unless your creature says otherwise. So keep that in mind. Oh, and of course, once your opponent's out of shields, you can attack them directly for the game. Make sure not to attack into their blockers, because that'd be silly. But that's really the video, guys. I hope that helped. I'm pretty sure I went through everything that you need to know about the game. This video is kind of long, but I'm pretty sure it'll be helpful to most of you that don't understand the game. And enjoy. Thanks for watching.